Hey everyone, this is Alexandra with Stage Dive Magazine. I am here doing my first interview for the site in just over 2 years with the drummer from Wolf King, Connor White. Connor, thank you so much for joining me over the phone in our two different time zones that we're in right now. You're in the Bay Area, correct?
That's exactly right. Thanks for having me, by the way.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I know you approached me to do this. I would have probably gone through my friends list anyways to see who would be fun to talk to. So thank you for wanting to be my victim, especially my first one.
Yeah, I saw you put up the bat signal, and I was like, all right, yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Quarantine, yeah. I got nothing else to do. Let's freaking party.
You're literally the only person who replied to me.
Cowards, dude, cowards.
So hopefully you set a good example, and everyone's going to hear how cool we sound, and everyone else is going to want to do this too. So I appreciate that. So yeah, I'm just curious too. I wanted to ask everyone this that I'm doing interviews with that I know personally. Do you remember how we met or where we met?
Yeah, actually, it was, as you might imagine, you were shooting a show naturally. And, I think I was on tour with Aether. And I don't think we even really spoke this night. We just introduced each other or whatnot, because I was like, hey, yo, sick pics, yada, yada. And I think it was at, what's it called? Trailside Saloon in Denver.
Yes.
Back on tour with Aether. This is like almost over 2 years ago, so we're talking ancient history here.
Yeah, it was that one. I was curious if you were going to struggle with that, because I realized you guys are one of the bands that every time I have seen you, it's been in a different state. Because I think after that, I saw you guys in San Diego, and then it was when we were both on two different tours. I was with Animus, and you guys were, I believe, about to meet up with Zayo, and we both ended up at that show in Sacramento, I believe it was.
Oh, don't forget Chicago too.
Oh, Chicago, yeah. Yeah, that was the most recent time that I saw you. It was just
it's crazy. You're like truly a rambling photographer. Like, we'll be just jetting around the country, and then we'll just get a DM like, yo, I'm going to be at the show.
Yeah.
Like, oh, shit. It's like literally like all over the map.
That is true, yeah. And I was so bummed that night, too, because I was so stoked to see you guys, because it felt like it had been forever, and then I didn't even get to stay for your entire set. Like, after I got off stage taking pictures of you, I literally left to go to the House of Blues because I had to be shooting Cult of Luna that night.
Which is so sick, by the way.
Yeah, but I basically stopped to see you guys, mostly because I know you guys were looking for weed. And I just wanted to ask, was that shared with you guys, or was Tim hoarding that?
Well, that's definitely a fair question, because, I kind of get desperate. Anyone is prone to, keeping their little Gollum stash, my precious. But, But no, thankfully that time it got, assimilated into the greater shared Wolf King weed bank account. Which is, of course, on tour, it's usually piteously low. And then we'll go to some random place, and, sometimes they'll give us a big old fat bag of dookie, and then we'll be set for a while. But obviously, as everyone knows, it can be rough out there with some of the states and their laws. So, we play it safe. We're not foolish. We've heard the horror stories, but with that being said, when you're bored of sin just in the van for, 7 hours, I mean, what are you going to do besides smoke some trees? So,
exactly. I've been on tours with bands that obviously you're in a band, and I'm just, the photographer, so I can tour with other bands and travel in a van with them. But I've been on some tours where I'm like the only weed smoker, and I'm just like, oh God, like I feel like I have a problem.
Yeah, exactly. They totally make you feel that way. But we're one of those bands where. Sorry, what was that?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say we're one of those bands where say what you will, but weed is kind of like part of our mythology. It's part of our persona. Like, we put out this 420 shirt, which is.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah. It's got a bunch of tour dates on the back. I was saying it's our most ambitious tour that we ever booked. And, it's like March 3/17 to April 20th. It's just every date is in the town of Smoke Weed.
Yeah.
So it was just a funny joke, and we're like, I don't know, it kind of drives you nuts when you're forced to just sit on your hands in quarantine. You know, more on that to come, I'm sure. But we're just like, oh, let's just do something fun, kind of remind people we're out there, hopefully make a couple bucks. And
did it do well?
I was gonna say, like, yeah, we were super stoked on how it did. I mean, I didn't really have a number in my mind for, you know, how many we would sell, but whatever rough guesstimate was in my head, we exceeded. So
yeah.
You know, never underestimate the public's, you know, ability to consume hilariously immature weed-themed band merch.
Yeah.
So we will be there to serve your needs, people.
All stoner funny merch needs, Wolf King, everybody. Even if you don't like the band, just buy the fucking funny merch.
Yeah, it's always a funny line to walk, because like we're kind of like, you know, self-proclaimed, you know, we say to amongst ourselves, we're like a spooky kind of themed, like evil band, and so, but it's tough because we're like all total like goofballs and jokers, so it's like a fine line to walk between being spooky and being kooky, if you will.
I feel like it's definitely a lot of metal bands, and that's what people still don't realize, that everyone's just like this weird, goofy people at the end of the day, like no matter what their music they put out is like, or how scary and, you know, satanic their merch is.
Yeah, well, I know plenty of guys who are like, hey man, like, you know, this is metal, this is serious stuff, and like I kind of get where they're coming from, because you don't want to like detract from the impact of like what you're trying to do if it's something that's supposed to be like shocking or really intense. You know, if you're kind of joking around, it might kind of take away from that. But again, it's like that's kind of the line that we walk between being true to ourselves and being true to like the art that we want to create. You know, at the end of the day, as long as you're being yourself, I feel like that will kind of win out. Because if you're trying to like suppress what you're actually like in order to portray something else, then I mean, what are you even doing?
I could definitely see or imagine it's a lot of, you know, not to speak down on any of these bands that we grew up being influenced by, but I feel like it's probably like the veteran bands, you know, that kind of look down on the jokesters and stuff because they've paid their dues to get where they are, and we're maybe a bit more serious about it. But I'm the same way. Like, if you can't be, you know, true to yourself, even if it's something that someone may not agree with fully, then why the fuck are you even doing it, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, it's one of those things where, like, once we're on stage, it's all business and we're full on Suki boys. But like, if you're gonna like come to the merch table after, we're not gonna be like sitting there with intense stares, like, you want to buy something or what? You know, like, it's like that's just not who we are. So.
Could you think of a band that maybe you like ever dealt with that? I could think of one where
I definitely can.
I could say who, but I walked up to that merch table and I was just like, nope, never doing this again. Like, I wouldn't, you know, I get it because you're tired and exhausted, but I was just like, oh boy, nope.
Yeah, well, definitely one of those things where I won't throw any names out there, but there was a band we did a run with a while back, and they were definitely all about the like grimaces on and off stage, like very like serious about the image type thing. But but what kind of made it egregious is that they were like complete dorks, and so it's like, which is fine. It's fine to be a dork, but it's like just don't pretend, you know. Like,
yeah. So speaking of all this touring and stuff, I know we mentioned the last time I saw you guys was just like 2 months ago, while you guys were on your last tour.
Oh man, it feels like 10 years ago.
Right. Obviously, you know, tours aren't happening right now, but I can't remember. Did you guys have to cancel any shows, or did that like just end before all of this started?
Well, we were actually like mega fortunate in how it all turned out, because our last two, as you mentioned, we're from the Bay Area, so our last 2 dates of the tour were in Santa Cruz and Sacramento, which are both, you know, like within about 2 hours from all of us. We're kind of spread around the Bay. And those last 2 shows ended up getting canceled, but we were all back home anyway, because you know, we're in our home area. So like basically we just got an extra 2 days off, which, you know, at the end of a tour, it's like, it's almost kind of like, oh, yeah, it's like, you never want to miss a show, obviously, but it's like, no, we get to just chill. Like, well, that's nice. And now looking back in retrospect, it's like, oh, God damn it, I wish we got to play those extra 2 shows, you know?
Right, yeah.
But that being said, if our tour ended and we were, you know, back east or something, it would have been a whole nightmare. So the fact that, like, I got home, unpacked my bags, and then quarantine was announced immediately after, it's just like, oh, well, I guess as much as it sucks that this is happening, we couldn't have been luckier, you know, as far as the circumstances. So.
Yeah, I know bands, like, I couldn't imagine being, like, in Europe and trying to, you know, you're expecting to leave in 2 weeks, and then it's like, oh, surprise, you have, like, 12 hours to get out of here. So it's unfortunate with everything going on, but, yeah, it definitely worked out well for you guys with just the timing and everything. Has it affected, though, anything else? I know you guys have been recording, correct?
Well, it has. Well, we were also kind of fortunate in the sense that we wrapped up recording our new album about mid to late January, if memory serves. And like right when we got home, we had these music videos ready to film and everything. And so the music video shoots ended up getting canned just because everything got locked down. So we ended up kind of going a different route and having to get creative with how we were doing our music videos for the new album. One of them we had this really awesome company make. I'll kind of just hold off on the names for now, just until it gets released. But
of course.
They didn't need any like live performance footage for us to shoot. Like they have this totally awesome style of video making using like footage that they already possess. I'm not exactly sure how they do it, but if the video's done, it looks freaking awesome. And so, and then we have another where Vance from Veil of Mass. Shout out to those guys. Love you, dogs.
I did tour with Vance when he did Abigail Williams.
Oh,
so that was the last tour I did. So got to hang with him for a few weeks, which was cool. And he does camera work. So he did like another video for you guys.
Yeah, well, he was nice enough to shoot one of our new songs that we were playing on our last tour. You know, for a bunch of nights in a row. So he ended up splicing together a sweet like live footage video for one of the new songs, which turned out really great. And he's just totally a virtuoso with music, visual, like everything.
Style
he's a real badass.
It's like super dark aesthetic, so I could totally see him doing something really cool with you guys.
Yeah, it couldn't have been a better match. So basically,
I might have to bug him and be like, Vance, let me see a little sneak peek of this Wolf King video I heard you do.
Yeah, I could probably send it to you. You know.
Okay.
But yeah, so we just kind of had to call an audible and change how we were going to do our videos for the album rollout because I'll just kind of go into detail with how quarantine changed our whole new album situation real quick.
That's what I was going to ask and roll into anyways, so that's perfect.
Okay, sweet. So the short summary is basically it was supposed to be out kind of early spring, so like, I don't know, maybe late April, early March was our original kind of target date to, you know, and that's including all the time like rolling out singles in the months before that and everything. But just when everything got shut down, we had to switch how we were doing our videos, and that process, you know, it just takes time to get that all ironed out. And then having things made for us that like satisfies what we wanted and what we envisioned, like remotely, where we don't get to like meet with these people or anything, like it just takes longer. And so it's kind of dragged on a bit because we can't do the rollout for the album until we have all our goodies, you know, videos and art and everything. So it basically just got pushed back, and now we pretty much have everything we need, and we're ready to start rolling things out and announcing in the coming weeks. So definitely stay tuned for that. We are mega pumped, of course, for our new record. Super proud of it. I remember just it's hard to step away from a record and listen to it like from an outside perspective, you know, and kind of take yourself out of it. But the first time I saw one of the music videos, it kind of like really brought it home for me, and I like finally viewed it as a spectator would and stopped like internally criticizing everything that could have been a little better, you know, and I just heard it as it is kind of for the first time. And I was like, oh, we like made something super sick, and I just got really excited. So like holding that finished product in your hands and being able to watch it is just really rewarding, and mega pumped to put it out. I'm glad, even though quarantine slowed us down, you know, we're ready to keep rocking here. So
yeah,
hopefully
that's good, because I know some bands are probably not, I hate to say it, but probably not gonna think that they're gonna make it out of this, or have just canceled plans completely. But I mean, obviously with putting out the new album, you always want to tour off that. So has anything for next year even been talked about for you guys? Are you guys trying to do something later in the year and still kind of book something knowing that it can very well get canceled? Or are you guys just going to strictly wait until it's like 100% shows are back on?
Well, that was kind of what we were wrestling with the most when this all happened, because my personal opinion was that, you know, if you put all this time into a record and really pour yourself into it, which I say with confidence that we have, then you want it to have the biggest splash and impact possible when it kind of hits shelves. And so obviously to do that, you want to like have a sweet tour to back up the release. And so my original thought was like, let's wait and see if we're going to be able to get anything to tour, or maybe if we can wait to release the album until we can tour. But it's become apparent that that's not really going to work. So we're just, you know, make the most of it, and hopefully we can play some shows around when it comes out, or, you know, even if there's some kind of like awkward rules put in place, you know, we'll work around whatever we have to. But ultimately, we're just hoping that if everything does come out in like full quarantine mode still, then we're just hoping that people will, you know, just kind of band together and help us out to try to get it out there and spread it around, because we really believe in this record. So we're hoping that, you know, that just kind of carries us
even more. Yeah. I feel like that's what I'm hopeful for, that the bands that are, you know, still planning on putting out new music, that like this may only just help them, because everything has been taken away from all the fans, it feels like. So people are gonna like now more than ever want to go to shows and, you know, check out new music and stuff. So
exactly. Well, it's like if people have all this time and there's kind of a dearth of like things to keep their interest, then like hopefully releasing stuff right now almost kind of gives it that bigger splash where people have the time to spread around, you know, like new content and new music is kind of like more valued, just because that kind of thing kind of like what's keeping us all sane right now is like new stuff still coming out. Gives you a sense of normalcy, and just, I don't know, just getting stoked on a new record is a feeling that everybody as like music fans can get behind. So we're just trying to make our contribution, and hopefully people dig it.
Yeah, I'm stoked to hear it. You guys put out that last album 2 years ago, and that's when I first heard of you guys, which I know you guys have been around for a bit longer than that. And I honestly like super surprised about the vocals, because I definitely thought that what was coming out of Jake's mouth would have been like coming out from Tim's mouth, and I feel like everyone feels the same way. No offense to either, but it's just, I was like, what the fuck, Jake? Like, where is that coming from in you? But I love that you guys have the two different vocals within your music, and I just love your guys' style. I think it's different. How would you describe the genre of Wolf Kings, would you say?
It's kind of a tough one, just because like the term crossover band has been used to describe us on many occasions. And the term that our label and many others have kind of associated with us is blackened hardcore, which is kind of like, there's a lot in that. Like the blackened part implies metal, and of course like black metal, which kind of implies like that mournful kind of like evil melodic thing, which we definitely have. And then there's
for sure.
Part, which, you know, we have like super stompy, like riff centric parts where we're not like blasting or, you know, doing machine gun double bass, and it's just like a chunky riff with like a groove on it. And like that's kind of where the hardcore part of the Blackened Hardcore comes in.
Yeah.
So we kind of walk a
definitely do it
strange
well,
line, you know.
too. Do it
Thanks.
well.
Appreciate it. And
Yeah.
on the vocals thing that you mentioned before, Jake, he's just a demon from hell. He's truly like his vocals are insane, and he's just a creative powerhouse. I mean, he does all of our art too, which like gets us
really?
kind of
That's cool.
He draws pretty much all of our merch except for a few pieces. So he's really imbued the band with our signature style and aesthetic. So
that's awesome. I definitely don't think I did that. That's very cool. Great job,
yeah.
Jake, if you're listening.
Yeah. He's the man. But his crazy low vocals are definitely, in my opinion, like one of the things that kind of define the band. So
yeah. That's very cool. But yeah, so all this talking about touring and shows and stuff. I know the other day I've been running, and since I can't go to shows or be on a tour, I was supposed to be on a tour, and then quarantine canceled it. And I realized before I called you, I was thinking about just last minute things to talk about. I was actually supposed to be on tour with Allegiant, and NCOs was on that bill. And I know you toured with NCOs. Yeah, so I was like, man, like that would have been cool if I could have been like, you know, just talking about our experiences with them, because I personally would have loved to been around them for 3 weeks and stuff. Actually, they're the podcast that Shani does. I listened to a few times, and that's definitely kind of why I'm like, all right, you know, I could do this too, type thing. So
they actually gave us an invitation after that tour to come on the podcast. So I think we're all a little bit bashful, but I'm hoping that one day, pretty soon here, we go and make good on that, because we love Shani and Naveen and Travis and Tim, and I mean, talk about creative powerhouses. They're definitely in that category.
Yeah. But yeah, so to make up for lack of shows in my life, I've been watching live videos while running to keep me motivated instead of just listening to music. And you mentioned, what was the band that you recommended to me again?
It was Neurosis, that Locust Star video.
Okay, yeah.
Man, that one chilled city right there.
I watched a few minutes of it, just like preview it, and I was like, all right, I'm definitely going to check this one out. But I wanted to ask you, and I'm sorry if this is a difficult question, what has been your favorite live show that you've been there for?
Oh, goodness.
Maybe I should have warned you about that question.
No, this is great. I'm flying by the seat of my pants here. Okay, so I mean, it's tough because I'm one of those guys where like I think that Iron Maiden is like one of the greatest bands to ever walk the earth, like in any genre. And so I've seen Maiden 3 times, and so we'll kind of put those to the side because like I don't know, I just love Maiden. It's kind of like a spiritual experience for me when I see them.
Yeah.
so just for the sake of everybody and not giving a boring answer, we'll set that to the side.
Okay.
A couple really, really good ones was I saw Ghost in San Jose.
Oh, nice.
And that's a band that's polarizing for a lot of people, like especially a lot of like more purist metalheads. And I don't really mean that in a bad way. Don't really approve of Ghost because they use metal imagery and all this stuff, and then they're kind of like playing pop music. But to me, it's just the quality of their music is undeniable, and the care and meticulous quality of their live show is like totally engrossing. And when I saw them, like I liked Ghost. I was like, yeah, the band's cool. And then I went and saw them, and I walked out of the theater like a super fan. Like those kind of show experiences were like, oh, I thought those guys were great, and then I saw them, and now I'm a fan for life. So they got me pretty good. And I don't know if I can take a favorite, but I'll just toss a quick few like really big ones for me that from the recent history. Like we played this Decibel Metal and Beer Fest, which was totally awesome. It was about 2 years back, year and a half back. And this band Chemist played. They're like melodic doom metal.
Okay.
And then they had this part of their set where the lights go dark and it's just the front man doing like a quiet, clean part and singing. And there's just one spotlight on him on the middle of a dark stage, and he just absolutely commanded the whole place. I was like ready to run through a wall by the time the music kick back in. So that was great.
That
And then Yob is probably my favorite band of like the last year. Have you heard of Yob by chance?
The name's familiar. The name's familiar. I know I've seen it like people posting on social media, maybe even you, but yeah, I don't think I've ever listened to them.
Gotcha. Well, I'll definitely recommend Yob. It's kind of like a doomy band, but that almost doesn't really do them justice because they're like a very metaphysical, like introspective, like quality to their music that's just super spiritual. And seeing them live was like, it actually was at the same Decibel Metal and Beer Fest, so that was a red letter day for me. But that was like a total out of body experience seeing Yob live. So
that's it.
Yeah, like Yob, Tempest, Maiden, Ghost. There's a lot of really heavy bands I've seen live too that are just mind blowing if they're like technicality and precision. But like, you know, I could go on and on about those kind of bands like Revocation and stuff like that. But I think those are the ones that jump to mind.
One of them, one of my personal favorites that I've seen within like the last year or so, I feel like I may be butchering the band name, and you've actually toured with them, Conjurer.
Oh, yeah.
Am I saying that right?
No, that's exactly right. They're from the UK.
Insane when I saw them. That was at the Brick show.
Right.
And I just remember, like, I never heard of them. I hadn't even like listened to their music. So I'm one of those people where I'm like, all right, if I'm going to a show and there's a band who I haven't heard of, I'd rather just listen to them live and get my impression, because that's the realest of the band that you're gonna get, you know. So
100%.
I didn't listen to them. I'm there. I was taking their pictures, and I was just like blown away, and I was probably standing there with like my jaw dropped at one point, just watching every member individually. And I don't know their names, of course, but like their main vocalist, he would, scream without the mic and just, stand there just screaming. And then the bass player, I don't know how.
Oh, the windmills. His windmills are absolute god tier. I swear he could power an entire village if they hooked up some wires to him or something.
I am like, what is he plugged into right now to be able to do that? And then he jumps off stage and he's like in the crowd, and I've seen that before, but just like not to that degree. So
he's
there's definitely another band that I was just like, oh my God, like this is insane, but also amazing. And you guys too, like not to just, I'm not just saying this to, toot your own horn or anything like that, but I remember seeing you guys at that show in Trailside, and aside from being extremely disappointed that there were only like 5 fucking people there. Which is very rare.
Early on for us.
But that is very rare for Denver too. I was so bummed that happened, because normally those shows are packed. But yeah,
I mean, the next time we came to Denver, it was sold out. So like we totally had like a redemption. So.
Good, yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, you guys, your stage presence is very. I mean, maybe it was just at that venue, but I mean, I've seen you guys a million times, of course. So yeah, you guys definitely are something else to see too. So
thank you. You're too kind. So if I can, I want to comment on Conjurer real quick before I miss my chance.
Yeah.
They definitely, I don't know. For me, they kind of they set a new standard for like live intensity, like for like a band, especially like there's a natural comparison between, like when I watch them, just because they're both 4 pieces that don't use backing tracks or any kind of like bells and whistles. We're just 4 dudes with instruments and mics, and that's it. And that's kind of like that's obviously not, definitely not disparaging anyone who like uses, more advanced like kind of technology to enhance their show. It's just, it's just, we've kind of chosen to just stick with like the kind of, just straight up rock band, just kind of like,
I would say
the rawness of
raw,
it always appeals to us. Yeah. And so Conjurer, they kind of mastered that, and they're doing huge things, and they couldn't deserve more. And honestly, great dudes too.
Yeah, very cool. That was the Rivers one too, right? Would you say, was that like the biggest tour you guys did? Because that's when Rivers was doing Where Owls Know My Name in its entirety.
Yeah, of course. I would be out of my mind if I didn't shout them out at some point because we love those guys to death, the River
Yeah.
Nile guys, and they're a top tier band
Mhm.
without question. I would say biggest is it's I mean there's the most sold out shows on that one, so I would probably say yeah. Obviously their hype was huge on that one, but our last one with Veil, I wouldn't say it was bigger, but it had some elements to it that were like made it really memorable in its own right.
Yeah.
But as far
Zayo,
as tickets sold,
so.
and Zayo, yeah, they were absolute insane shows. Those guys,
Yeah.
shout out those boys. But yeah, I guess as far as tickets sold, that's got to be the biggest one. But I'd say like once we've started getting like tours that were like more successful, like they all kind of bring something different to the table, and all those tours kind of have their own personality. But the Rivers, the Nile, Conjurer, MPS, part of it's because that was like an all-star team of just awesome people. Like everybody in all those bands is like totally like top notch, and so that was one of my personal favorite tours. Definitely, it's unforgettable.
Very cool. Yeah, it was definitely a good. From my experience going to shows, I'm not a fan of shooting at Brick by Brick, but the lineup for that was killer. So
yeah, and people would come up and say that every night and just say like, there's not a single band you can miss on this tour. And so it's fun being a part of something that people hold in high regard like that.
Yeah, that's part of why.
Again, not trying to like
to see MPOs every night because I've seen them like twice, and they're definitely one of those bands that like you were just saying, like it would be, you don't get tired of seeing them.
Yeah. Well, and like Confession Time, I mean, this is obvious probably if you're a drummer, but Naveen is just an absolute like god to me. So to watch that guy play drums every night was insane. And there were several nights where he used my drum set, and I would take videos of it and be like, "Look, guys, Naveen's playing my drums." That's so funny, but yeah, good memory.
I feel like you're not the only musician that would get that way over something like that. But that leads me to my another question that I had. What band would you just absolutely love to tour with and have?
Oh man. Well, just like some random ones to throw out there. I mean, obviously you gotta shoot for the stars when you're thinking of these, but like Converge or would be Massive. That's like probably near the top of our most wanted list.
Mm-hmm.
And all of us are actually huge Skeleton Witch fans, and so like, obviously I could say like Metallica or whatever, but I'm like talking in like stuff
realistically,
in the realm of possibility, and so like Skeleton Witch and Converge is a really big one, and like bands kind of in that vein that are just mega high intensity. I'm kind of blanking on some other examples right now. Like Code Orange, I feel like is a band that we would really, really, really love to tour with. But I mean, like because of our crossover nature, we can fit on like all kinds of bills, which we've like proved in multiple tours. We toured with Zayo, which is like kind of like MySpace hardcore, and I don't mean that as a diss, but you know what I mean. Like
it's true. I listened
like,
to them when I'm pretty sure I heard of them off MySpace. When I was, like,
well, they're like metalcore innovators, and like really, like mid metalcore is kind of tied to MySpace in that way.
Yeah.
But and like we've played with like Exhumed and like all these death metal bands, and then like hardcore and like some like more breakdowny bands too. And so really the spectrum of like who we could tour with and fit is like pretty huge. Like Spite, they're a band where they're like associates of ours. We know those guys are super cool, and we would love to tour with them. So kind of like the bands that we would love to tour with, it's like very broad spectrum.
Yeah.
That's just a few that jump to mind. I'm definitely not thinking of a ton of great ones, but Converge is probably like near the top of our list, I would say.
I'll keep my fingers crossed for you guys. If you guys ever tour with Converge, I offer you my services for free to go in, just so I can go on fucking tour with Converge.
All right, I'll write that down. I'll put that in the file.
Free photos every night, as long as I get to see Converge every night with you guys.
Yeah. But if you could think of like the bands like Converge, I mean, I guess as a side note, like some bands that I just love that I would like to tour with, maybe it wouldn't make as much sense. So like Misery Signals or like Architects. They're probably a little too big, but like I've always really, really loved Architects and stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd be sick. I mean, hey, I have these weird dreams of like, oh my God, if like 2 Chainz called me and was like, hey, I need a touring documentary photographer, would you do it? I would be like, I am packing my bag.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd be like, yeah, when do you need me where? Just let me know.
Yeah.
I'll be there. No, for sure, dude. Well, I mean, there's some wacky offers out there where like I'm sure we would just have to take them.
Yeah.
Be like, what? You want to tour with Insane Clown Posse? You'd be like, hang on, let me get my face paint. Let me get my coffees and my face paint. I'll meet you in
oh my God.
I'll meet you in Detroit.
I mean, I would take up that offer too, you know, like that was like, let's be real, wouldn't like everybody just to say that they fucking did that? Haven't some metal bands played at their Juggalo
Gathering of Juggalos?
Yeah,
they have, and that was I can't remember if we actually asked our manager this, but at the very least we were joking about it in the van.
Okay.
Of just pitching, playing Gathering of the Juggalos, and just whether it be a positive experience or whether they'd hate us and we'd be pelted with Faygo.
I think you guys would do great. especially mostly because just knowing your guys' personalities, I could see you guys just having a lot, and I don't know this because I mean, I've never been. I think the closest thing I've seen is like that Workaholics episode and some few like random videos, but I could see you guys probably having like the time of your lives doing something like that.
I think Wolf King and the Juggalo Nation, I think we have a grand old time. I'm not going to deny that for a second.
Maybe that could be like your next shirt. Try to do try to get their fan base on your side.
All right, we gotta cut that out of the interview because we can't let anybody get their hands on that.
Okay, I'll just bleep the whole part out.
Yeah, that idea is too good. You're gonna have to bleep that out.
All right. Well, I want to wrap this up because I know I said like maybe 20 minutes and I'm being told it's been like 45 minutes. But
I'm having a blast. It's all good.
Well, I'm doing some like volunteer training stuff, so I actually have to start getting ready for something here in a minute.
That's what.
But most important question, you probably know what I'm about to ask. So we all know about Buc-ee's in the touring realm. Most bands know about Buc-ee's, and you guys,
the sacred realm.
Yeah, you guys are one of the bands that like I started noticing the Buc-ee's. There was a few other ones, but you guys caught my attention with it too, and then I started touring, and then I'm at Buc-ee's, and I'm like, I get it now. So, and you and I have always bonded, you know, on social media with my Buc-ee's posts about gifts to my nieces and nephews, like, you know, the Buc-ee gang comments and stuff. So of course, I just to end this, you have one item that you could buy in Buc-ee's when you're on tour, just one. What do you buy?
Oh, okay. Well, this is tough. I might have to do like a top 3. I don't know. Recently, I saw somebody post a picture, I think on Twitter, somebody wearing a full-on Buc-ee's like onesie.
Yes.
That was pretty sweet. But now that it's hotter than hell over in California, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna veto that one.
Yeah.
Putting on a onesie right now is death sentence. But I mean, I'd say our most used Buc-ee's item is the lanyard. Our van keys are always on the lanyard. We all have one. Our laminates are on the lanyard. So chances are, whenever you see Wolf King on the road, if the 4 of us are assembled in one place, you will see at least one Buc-ee's lanyard. So that's like the most ubiquitous one, you know. But I don't know. I got a Buc-ee's Frisbee last tour. That was very crucial. Very, very, very crucial. Just for parking lot hangs and killing time.
Yeah.
I mean, no better way to do it. But I'd say, okay, well, I'm going to go number 3. 3 out of 3 is going to be the lanyard. 2 out of 2 is going to be the Frisbee. And first place is going to be the Buc-ee's chonies, the underwear. Because them shits is comfortable. And, you know, there's no better opportunity to rock the beaver than to cover your own privates, you know.
Exactly, yeah. I was
and so my Buc-ee's,
I was wearing mine earlier, and then I took a shower. I felt like I should have been wearing them during this interview, just to, for good luck.
Well, at a certain point, that I needed to just buy like Bucky's shorts or like something like that, and then like I would be able to assemble an outfit that was entirely Bucky's.
Yeah.
Which would obviously be madness. Just to say that I could would be epic.
Yeah.
Oh, and for the uninitiated, Bucky's is the biggest gas station. It's the Bass Pro Shop Cabela's of gas stations.
Yes.
In Texas only. And for any touring musician, it is an absolute beacon of prosperity and happiness.
It's amazing. So the amount of food that you could get at the counter for like the price, it's like, to not do that.
Dude, brisket sandwich all day. They got like 64 drink coolers, everything you could possibly concoct in your head.
Yeah, and then of course the beaver nuggets. You can't deny how amazing those are.
Dude, so sick. But I'm glad you brought up Bucky's, because it would be cardinal sin if we didn't talk about Bucky's.
I know. I miss Bucky's. One of my friends out in Colorado was saying that he was going down to Austin. He was helping some friends move. He's like, yeah, so we could stop at Bucky's, and I'm like, I hate you, right?
Now, give me some nuggies, man. Send them in the mail, or else we're boxing.
I regret right now, my biggest regret from the last time I was at Bucky's is not buying what I call the buckini, because it's summertime, and I would love to have the Bucky's.
Dude, I would fucking wear that right now. I don't know if I can drop F-bombs, but too late.
Yeah, it's 'tis the season, so. And I hope I'm gonna make sure that we tag Bucky's in this too, because I think that we just need to start like some sort of movement where Bucky's gives like bands discounts and stuff.
Oh yeah.
We do so much for them. I think everyone who's listening and knows the Bucky's could agree. So
Bucky, if you hear me, if you can hear my call, hear me, Lord Bucky.
Sponsor Connor.
We love you.
All right, Connor.
We'll do anything.
Thank you so much for taking some time to chat with me. Everybody listening, check out Wolf King if you are unfamiliar. I'll make sure to post links to band pages, merch, all that good stuff when this goes up. So we'll have all of that info. Anything else? Any last words, Connor? Any shout outs to anybody, I guess? I don't know.
Any last words? No, I'm just gonna say look out on our page for singles, teasers, album announcement, everything coming soon. It's coming right down the pipeline.
Yeah.
And for everybody who's been patient because we had to push it back, thank you for your patience. We love you. And thank you for all the support. And lastly, Alex, thank you for having me. It was helpful.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.